Hey guys, what is up? Gimsor here, and tonight I am going to show you what build is currently topping the Necromancer leaderboards. As you can see right now, the top Necromancer clear is a solo 100. I'm going to go over what this guy's running, a couple things that I see might be staying, might be going, what I think might make it to live or might not. We're going to go over this real quick. And then, yeah. So first of all, we are still utilizing 6-piece Rathmas, which is gloves, shoulders, helm, chest, pants, and boots. A couple of the pieces that have been swapped. Obsidian Ring of the Zodiac is now being utilized, and the Johnstone is being utilized. Um, Other than that, the other swap has been to Convention of Elements. So the way this build's running, this build is basically focused around a lot of cooldown reduction, and I will explain why here in a minute. Um, so basically, what you're doing here is you're min-maxing a lot of poison abilities, which in turn, the reason you're doing that is because of Death's Scythe. Each different poison skill you use increases the damage of your poison skills by 100% for 15 seconds. Since we're running 5 poison skills here, that's a total of 500%, I'm assuming additive damage. In the cube here also, Tasker and Theo increases attack speed of your pets by 50%. When you're fully buffed, since all of your damage is mainly coming from your Skeletal Mages, so they're attacking faster, in turn you're doing significantly more damage. And Convention of Elements, in the cube here you gain 200% increased damage to a single element for 4 seconds. So when this rotates around to poison, you will be doing 200% more poison damage. So what has changed on the leaderboards? And I will tell you this right now. This is can be kind of difficult to play because you have to keep an eye on two different abilities. But the reason this is pushing so high right now is because of Rathma's Shield. You cannot lose life for 4 seconds after using Land of the Dead or Army of the Dead or Simulacrum. We're not using Simulacrum, but we are utilizing Land of the Dead and Army of the Dead. So that's two different abilities, and if with enough cooldown and played correctly, that in turn is basically like permanent invincibility. Um, so on top of that, another passive that has been changed, Blood is Power. This in turn is giving you some more cooldowns. So after cumulatively losing 100% of your maximum life, all ability cooldowns are reduced by 20%. This effect cannot reduce an ability's cooldown more than once for each time that ability is used. Um, so basically, all this is all of your survivability is coming from Rathma's Shield and Army of the Dead usage, Land of the Dead usage. You still got some mitigation from Bone Armor as well, but let's go ahead and go over the abilities really quick. And like I said, this is a poison-focused build. So your generator that you're going to be using is Bone Spikes. This generates 24 essence. The the rune is going to be Bone Pillars here. This really doesn't do anything other than makes it poison, and this is the ability that generates the most essence, which is Bone Spikes. On to the next, Skeletal Mage. This is your primary source of damage. Raise a contaminated mage that channels an aura of decay for 175% weapon damage as poison for its duration lasts 6 seconds. So this is Skeletal Mage contamination. And the reason all your damage is coming from Skeletal Mages, if you look at the 6-piece here, each active Skeletal Mage increases the damage of your minions and Army of the Dead by 200%. Skeletal Mages, in my opinion, are minions, so that's where you're getting all your damage. Next, we have Devouring Aura. This kind of conflicts here with your, which one is it? Your Land of the Dead, and I'll go over that here in a minute. Or actually, I'm sorry. Yes, it is Land of the Dead. So, Devouring Aura. So, Devour is usually an on-use ability, but with Devouring Aura, this becomes an aura that consumes all corpses within 15 yards to restore 11 essence per corpse. The range of this effect is increased by 50% of your gold pickup radius. You, the way I'm looking at this, though, you do not want any pickup radius, you want it to stay at the base 15 yards, and the reason for that is your amulet here. So each corpse consumed in Land of the Dead increases your damage by 10% for 8 seconds after it ends. This can roll to a maximum of 8 seconds, so it's 10, or I'm sorry, 10 seconds, so it's 10% for 10 seconds after it ends. So while there's corpses on the ground, while it's nice that the aura is generating essence for you, you don't want to pick up all of the corpses simply because for each corpse that you consume with Land of the Dead, increases your damage here by 10%. So that's huge. So you want to be, if you're getting low on essence and you don't have a place to really channel your bone spikes, it's okay to run over some within 15 yards with your devouring aura. But at the same time, keep in mind, you want to have your Land of the Dead picking up those corpses, which is going to in turn give you significant damage increase. With that being said, the next ability here is Army of the Dead, Blighted Grasp. Basically, another poison ability, but like I went over a minute ago, since we're running Rathma's Shield here, Army of the Dead is giving you a 4-second invincibility. So 4-second invincibility, in turn, also with a poison skill, so you're increasing your damage 100% there when you use it. Land of the Dead, we just went over. Another poison rune with it as well. So that's in turn increasing your damage by another 100%. So this also is another, every time you use it, 4-second invincibility. I haven't gotten real good at this playstyle yet, but as you can see though, with the guy clearing on 100, I can probably see it going higher. So, and last not least here, Bone Armor Dislocation. Dislocation is poison as well. So what Bone Armor does is gives you basically damage mitigation, and it's a 2-second stun. So when you use this ability, as long as you hit at least one enemy, you will get 1 stack. But every time it's off cooldown, every time it's off cooldown, you can use it again on some more enemies to stun them and increase the stacks. So it's crucial to try to keep this at 10 stacks. Since you do have your invincibilities, if you do get caught outside of your invincibility though, it's perfect to have this at 10 because that's 30% damage mitigation you're going to have there. With that being said though, make sure here in the amulet, or it doesn't matter which piece, that you have a Goguka Swiftness. This is going to help with your cooldown, your attack speed, and your dodge. The higher the rank, the better, because it increases it. You see here I'm at rank 100. So for every stack, stacking up to 15 times, I get 1.5. So 1.5% attack speed, dodge, etc., etc. As far as the ring, one of your rings, you want Circle of the Naluge. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. This is very crucial because it doubles your Skeletal Mage. So you raise an additional Skeletal Mage with each cast, and they last an additional 4 seconds. This is crucial because every time you cast, as you can see, it will summon 2 mages. And then a maximum of 5 summons. Here you will have your 10-stack Skeletal Mage max. The other swap here has been to Obsidian Ring of the Zodiac. This is a great place to get cooldown because it rolls statically on it, and then also reduces the remaining cooldown of one of your skills by 1 second when you hit with a resource spinning attack. From the testing that I have done with this, my Skeletal Mages are actually proccing this ring. I don't know if that's intended or not, so that's one of those other things too that I'm kind of iffy if that'll make it to live. In turn, there's basically no, trying to think of their Phalancrides or whatever, the Necromancer offhands. There are none currently that are very any useful in terms of secondary ability. So basically, all they're going to provide you with is your stats that you want, which on your offhand you want crit chance cooldown, and then int vitality is great. But the only thing else they're going to bring to the table is some damage range, which is nice. But in my opinion, a shield is going to be top at the moment, simply for damage mitigation, and you can get all the stats you want in here. As you can see, I've got cooldown and crit chance on it, some life, int, and even more chance to block. So that's some mitigation. Other than that, the top leaderboard right now for bracers is running strong arm bracers. I'm a little bit confused as to why I'm not seeing anything in this setup that is a knockback. The only thing that I could figure is bone armor with having a stun, maybe counting as a knockback, so that may be the case. But until I test that further, I will not know. So basically, what I'm sticking with here is Ancient Parthian Defenders, which when you stun with this, each enemy that's stunned within 25 yards reduces your damage taken by a set amount between 9 and 12%. That's why I'm running that. So basically, the setup is still all Rathmas, and the stats that you want to roll, you ideally want cooldown on stuff, attack speed. So like gloves, ideal roll would be uh, int, crit chance, crit damage, cooldown, or depending on your paragon, if you're testing, a perfect roll would be attack speed, crit chance, crit damage, cooldown. That's really hard to get. Shoulders, int, vite, cooldown is basically all you're worried about. On your helmet, int, crit chance, skeletal mage damage. Chest really doesn't matter. Int, vite, and I'm running life percent. Pants, int, vite, armor, and boots here, int, vite, and skeletal mage damage. So you're stacking skeletal mage damage on your helmet and your boots. Weapon, another piece that you want to get cooldown on for sure. So int, cooldown, say percent damage or attack speed in there, but make sure you get cooldown on here as well because you want as much cooldown as possible, which also in your helm here you want a diamond. And as far as offhand, which we went over a minute ago, int, vite, crit chance, cooldown is basically all you're looking for there. Um, with that being said, guys, that's about it. If you haven't seen any of the other build guides, the weapon that you're going to be utilizing here, Scythe of the Cycle, your secondary skills deal a 200 or deal a set amount of percent extra damage, additional damage while bone armor is active, but reduce the remaining duration of bone armor by 4 seconds. That's not a big deal. Um, and your other weapon, which you're going to have here in the cube, Death Scythe, we went over this a minute ago. Each poison skill you use increases your damage of your poison skills by 100%. Total of 5 poison abilities, 500% damage increase. Um, with that being said, there's basically only one other thing to really go over, and that's going to be the belt selection. I'm still running a Witching Hour, but two other viable options here are a Vigilante belt, which rolls with cooldown, or a String of Ears, which basically is a significant source of damage mitigation. Um, as far as your ring here, we went over this circle, additional Skeletal Mage, 4 seconds increase in that. And that's basically it for the guide, guys, and the build setup. Just remember as much cooldown as possible, rocking 5 poison abilities. You got your Convention of Elements. So basically a little bit of what you want to do here. I'll just do a simple little start to a rift. Show you how I kind of play this. Come in, stun, get a couple stacks. I'll pop, Land of the Dead, get a little bit of damage mitigation for my invincibility. Pop my Army of the Dead, and as long as you're min-maxing and you're rotating these properly, you will have permanent invincibility. So, and as you can see here on a 90, kind of melting through the elites, it's pretty impressive build. And as you can see, those blues went down pretty quick. This is a 90, but with the right rift and stuff, as you can see on leaderboards, this can push up to 100, which it could probably go maybe a little higher depending on Paragon and things of that matter. So that's pretty much it, guys. If you've enjoyed this guide or if this helps you out, feel free to hit the subscribe button or the thumbs up button. It helps me out a lot, and I greatly appreciate it. You can also check me out. I stream every day. I try to stream Monday through Friday on Twitch, starting at around 9 to 9:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. And with that being said, guys, I'm going to conclude this guide. I hope you enjoyed your time here. Have a great night/day, whatever it is for you. And until next time, guys, peace.